Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here, playing some more Warhammer combat cards. This week, in between campaigns, there's a special set of missions where you can earn coins and extra packs of cards based on your clan's dedication for destroying enemies in PvP mode within your clans. And each infantry and bulky card in your deck will add more to your score. There are 10 tiers, so it could potentially take a very long time to get there, but I'm going to show you some good builds to get these rewards as efficiently and quickly as possible. But it does take a little coordination and communication with your clanmates. So this is the very first match that I played. I am running Skulltaker as the warlord with a 100% keyword deck. So I've got a lot of fodder units with Endless and Taunt in there, but then a couple really powerful melee units as well that can just smash their way through the enemy. My opponent has been kind enough to play as the Tervigon, and if you just want to get as many points as possible in the match, the Tervigon is the way to go because those infinite Termagants, you do get points every time you destroy each of those Termagants. And so he's deployed there at the beginning, ensuring that we can start off getting lots of kills here, and he's included a lot of weak cards in his deck as well. In fact, I think every single bodyguard in there is fodder except for one powerful melee unit, the Moloch you can see right there. So he is going to be getting a few kills from the Moloch when he goes melee. But this was just a really good way to get through the match at a decently quick pace. Now both players can just go melee each turn, and Skulltaker will just smash his way through all the fodder. And hopefully you'll be able to kill a bunch of Termagants along the way and get lots of points from that. So we'll see how this goes. Now I'm deploying my weak units across from the Moloch, of course. Don't want my strong units getting eaten up by that thing, so he chose melee here. And the pink horror goes down. It comes back because it's Endless. And we're able to destroy one of the Ripper swarms. It comes back as well. The Endless cards are really good to use here. And of course with Skulltaker, every time you get an enemy unit at 25 or less health, it will finish it off with the Locus of Decapitation. That is Skulltaker's special rule. And that is why he's really nice to use in this, because you can just smash your way through the enemy. Even if you normally would not be able to kill them. It also works on Furious Charge and Death Blow as well, if you're able to pull that off. Now the games still do take a little bit of a while, and one of the things about PvP is that you do have to wait for your opponent to deploy. That's why I don't actually really like playing these long matches against the Tervigon, because of the longer the game is, the more potential there is for someone to go AFK or to disconnect, and you actually see that later in this match. So far it's been going pretty smoothly, with each player deploying their units pretty quickly and then just choosing the correct attack type. And I've already gotten a lot of kills. I'm not counting how many Termagants I destroyed in here, but it was a fair bit. And there's another Endless card, the Hormigaunt, there on the left side. Now, what you want to do, if you're trying this out, is you want to make sure that you're deploying your weakest units, your fodder, across from your opponent's strong units at all times. It seems like common sense, but sometimes it can get a little bit tricky, especially if a player has more than one strong card on the field. Like in this case, we've got Obsidious Malix. He's pretty strong on the left side, and then in the center we've got the Terminator, which is also one of the stronger units as well. Now it's pretty easy with the Tervigon because he has almost all fodder, so all he has to do is just put all of his units across, in the center or the left lane, and just keep the Moloch there, and then I can keep deploying my fodder units across from the Moloch. So this was actually a really good combination of decks. I think very easy to work with. And this player, again, he's being very generous. He's not going to be getting nearly as many points from this match as I am. So that may not be the case for your clan members. If they want to get the rewards quickly as well, there is a better way to do that, and I will show you that in the next game. where both players are able to get lots of points. And this is where I think my opponent actually disconnected, or he got disconnected. It was not intentional, of course, but see, you can see he got one strike there because he ran out of time, and then the AI just took over and deployed units at random, I think. Well, actually, you got one strike. You get 3 strikes here if you go AFK. There is a timer. It goes off either when deploying or when it's on your turn if you take too much time. So you can see here once again, it starts at, was it 15 seconds or something, and then it's going to run down to 0, so the AI will just deploy something for him. And it is my turn, so I do get to take this turn, and I just continue playing as normal, going melee. But I don't think he was able to reconnect to this game, so you'll see him get the 3rd and final strike on the next deployment phase, which is happening right now, because there is an open slot. I just deployed Karn the Betrayer, so this game could have gone a lot longer. Had he not disconnected, he could have just kept throwing down the Termagants across from Karn. Of course, it wouldn't have gone that much longer because eventually, you know, the Moloch would start having to attack my stronger units, and so yeah, it wouldn't have lasted too much longer. But there is strike number 3, and when that happens, the player just forfeits the game. So he surrendered. We weren't able to finish this game, but I was still able to get lots of points from it, and we'll see exactly how many. I don't know how many points he got, but I don't think it was very much, because he didn't have as many of those keyword cards in his deck. So once we go back to the main screen, at the campaign menu, we'll be able to see how many points I had. It was actually at the start of the video, because I recorded that after this game. So let's see if I actually go there. Yeah, claim the rewards. So yeah, again, you can get coins and cards based on your faction. My clan is dedicated to chaos, so there we go. And I got 6,290 points from this single match, and I got 7,000 from the second game I played against the Tervigon. Moving on to match number 2. Now, if the players in your clan are not willing to play as the Tervigon and are wanting to all get points as quickly as possible, this is another thing that you can do. We're playing a mirror match here using the same warlord, Skulltaker versus Skulltaker, and we're using almost identical builds as well. The same combination of units, and what you want to do here is just make sure again that you are deploying your weak units across from your opponent's strong units and vice versa. Now sometimes it's a little easier said than done because the cards that you want in your hand are not always available, but I think it helps if you deploy your endless units a little bit earlier. Because sometimes if you deploy the taunt units, it can kind of mess things up as well. We'll see if that happens here. So right now I've deployed my strongest unit, Karn the Betrayer, over on the left side, and my opponent has Obsidious Malix, who is a powerful melee unit as well. On the other side, he was able to get 2 of his endless units down on the field, and actually Chaos only have 2 weak endless units, so those are the only ones in this deck, so he was able to get them both out on the field. If you save them for too long, then sometimes you might not get to deploy it before the warlord dies at the end, so definitely get those out sooner as opposed to later. Okay, so I've deployed a taunt unit over on the right side, so it survives and then is taken down by their strong unit. And we're just working down these guys. Got the Locus of Decapitation, taking out that Poxwalker there. Alright, and then I put down my Endless unit, the Pink Horror, over across from his strong unit. And let's see what he puts down next. Taking a little time to decide here, but... Okay, so he went with the Taunt unit. The little Shambler. And it is my turn, so just going melee. Should be able to go melee pretty much every turn, although towards the end of the game you might have to be a little careful there. This was a pretty fun turn. We got the Death Blow taking effect, and that activated the Decapitation. And then he was able to retaliate. So a bunch of units just died on that turn. And I'm putting down another of my taunt units over on the right side. Now sometimes you do have to be a little careful with the positioning of your units. In a previous game I had Karn the Betrayer in the center lane, and then I put one of those weak taunt units directly to the right of him, but then when the taunt unit was destroyed, then Karn got hit by a really big attack immediately after that. So that's why in this case I put Karn on the leftmost side, the taunt unit on the right, and then I have a buffer unit in the middle so that it can take damage in case the taunt unit dies earlier on. And we are working our way through the units. The match still did take a decent amount of time. So here I put a big unit number 2, Obsidious Malix, in the center lane. And let's see what he is going to deploy. He only has a couple... Actually, yeah, he only has the Terminator and Karn the Betrayer remaining. So we've gotten through all of the fodder. And our Karn is starting to get very angry. He's taken a fair bit of damage. So he takes out the Terminator in one hit, and we are hitting their main damage dealer. And so now all he has left is the Warlord, Skulltaker, and Karn the Betrayer. And then I've got my Terminator, so I put it over on the right side. It is his turn. And he has to be careful here because if he just, deploys his units and in the wrong position, then his Warlord could end up getting killed prematurely. So he put Karn over on the right side, moved Obsidious Malix over to the left, and then put down the Warlord, and then he could go for the melee attack, destroying my Terminator. And his Warlord does take some damage. His Obsidious goes down, and now I can deploy my Warlord. Now I wanted him to get at least one more kill in. At this point, I mean, I could, if I just readied, I could... Actually, I don't think there's any way he could win, unless we just went into a readying cycle. So I just readied once, which allowed his Karn to destroy one more unit, and then the game ended with my counterattack, because I just had a little bit too much melee damage there. But this was about as close as you could get, I think. We were both able to destroy a lot of units in this match, so I got slightly more points because I did destroy the Warlord right there. But it worked out pretty well. It does take a little bit of coordination and communication beforehand. We did talk about which deck to use, and so also sometimes if you have a lot of people online, someone else might take your game without actually realizing what's going on. So there's that as well. But here, opening up some more rewards, and then from that match I ended up getting about 4,000 points, I guess. So definitely a lot less than the Tervigon, but that's about what you could expect, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 points from a full keyword deck with Skulltaker in the mirror match. So those are some options for this set of missions. So if you go for it, then good luck to you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.